Tech Tips episode 2. We'll be going over backups.
I'm telling you that.
I'm telling you that though.
Why are you telling me?
Want to do an
Because Sean's
introduction
ready.
on
Because we have to do an introduction. Hi, I'm Chris Tripp. That was bad.
You actually just killed Sean.
Brilliant.
You start.
Okay.
Yeah,
Say, I'm Chris Tripp. I'm Sean Roop. We're with neoRhino, and today we're here to talk about. I'm not going to clap.
Clap.
Today we're going to talk about backups.
Well, I was hoping backups, so I can implement the fact. Going over backups, why are they important? You know, that'd be our first question. Why would you want a backup?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
So if you lose, something happens to your data set, you lose all your pertinent company files. Maybe you've got data on your server that's proprietary to your company, and that's your way of life at that company. You want to make sure that if anything happens to that data set, you've got some form of backup, whether it be on-site, off-site, cloud, not cloud, somewhere, so that if something does happen, you can always go back and restore to a prior set that is functional, essentially.
Yeah, and also in the sense of that, I've also seen it to where if you have incremental backups running in a business, people will be working on their files and then accidentally delete something.
Right.
And then as long as if they had actually worked on that file and saved it on that server that's being backed up or that file system that's being backed up, they're able to restore it back to that original state, at least within an hour. So you lost an hour worth of work rather than the whole week of work or however long it took to make the entire document because you didn't have backups in general. So with that, let's go over on-site backup solutions. Can you name some off?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different solutions. You've got something as simple as using like Windows Server backup in a little external drive connected, whether it be a full-size external drive with a power unit connected to it, or just a small USB powered drive. Typically, we'll see those a lot in like the smaller businesses, and it's very budget friendly solution, but it's probably the most risky out of all of them.
Yeah,
there's a lot of those externals. They can be prone to failure, and if you have a failure and you're not doing rotations, you don't have multiple drives, it's gone.
Yeah.
But granted, you still have your data set, but if, say, your server gets hit and it gets surged and it surges your backup drive,
right,
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Protect your, as an off note to backups, always protect your servers, right?
Yeah, for sure. But always protect the peripherals of your server as well.
Protect everything.
So yeah, everything needs protection. That's the point of backups.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've also seen some on-site backup solutions like backup servers. A server dedicated to backups.
Yeah.
It has 80 terabytes worth of information you can throw on it. Drives are replaceable, hot swappable, and you have extra drives laying around just in case one goes out. What do you think about those? Are those I would assume better solution, yes,
absolutely,
than the external drive.
And even a lot of those will have options for some sort of off-site as well. So it's not just an on-site. So like you can start with
hybrid.
Yeah. Usually it's a hybrid solution. You can start with something as simple as just like a NAS unit that's a little more stable than an
external drive. Yeah,
exactly, because you can fill that NAS with server level drives with. And have hot swaps ready to go when if there is a failure in the drive itself.
It's a miniature server backup solution.
Yeah, exactly. And then you go all the way up to the big boy. We have an ARC solution, but there are tons of solutions for large data set backups.
Right.
So that's a pretty big option, and tapes too. Tapes are another on-site solution that they was really popular. It's still around, but I think with some of the newer technology around,
it's slower, but it is more reliable in the sense of you can drop the tape and nothing will be wrong. But if you drop a hard drive, everybody almost knows if you drop your laptop or a hard drive, you're done. Yep. That information is unretrievable, or you have to send it off to a data recovery place and $20,000, $30,000. Plus, it's an if we can get the information off, but we're still going to charge you this amount.
Exactly.
Yeah, it sometimes gets a little bit ridiculous. But Going to, I guess, what about hybrid?
So hybrid's kind of the new kid on the block. A lot of stuff like Datto's. Datto is really big here, and essentially it's an on-site unit, on-site server backup that also syncs with the cloud, and will put all of that data up into its cloud, where then you can retrieve it, and even depending on the retention policies that you purchase with your subscription with a Datto device, you can even then take that data and spin it up to a virtual. So say you lose everything in your office, you get flooded and it hit everything, right?
Yeah.
You're completely gone. Your technology's all gone. You can spin those backups up into virtual machines in the cloud, and then have access to all of your data that was as if you had lost nothing, basically.
Well, that would be definitely, I would say I'd prefer that in my own business if I were to run one.
Absolutely. That's why we recommend those devices all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we have several clients that use Datto for sure.
But there are more than just Datto out there, but that's really the big dog.
Yeah, and they're kind of they were kind of fresh, weren't they? They just kind of started coming up.
And they've been around for a while, but they're really picking up steam.
Yeah.
Late.
But other than Datto, I mean, we have, I know, Symantec, Barracuda, those two do backups. I'm sure, I think you were telling me the other day, AT&T and Comcast, they have backup
They're
solutions
starting to do
as well?
cloud backup solutions now, where they'll back up. You can buy X amount of space, and they'll back your entire data set up to their clouds. And I don't know too much about them other than the fact that they're there now, and so I'll be doing some research into that to see what kind of features come with that. But it could be beneficial to have all your billing, or part of your billing in one location instead of having to worry about
definitely.
AT&T there, neoRhino.
I paid for my internet service, and AT&T would be internet, phones, and backups now.
Right.
So they're all starting to jump into that field. And there's also Carbonite. Can you tell me about that one?
So Carbonite and other things like that. We typically see that small to medium-sized businesses. It's a good solution. They have a lot of features. You buy in bulks of gigabytes, and it's just a monthly fee, and it syncs everything up. You got to have good good bandwidth, and set your backups to hopefully be on a time slot where
your business isn't running.
Yeah, or you're not utilizing as much. So usually late at night, but we'll get into that when we talk about scheduling and data sets and stuff like that. But it is another solution that's available.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying scheduling data sets. What do you mean by data sets? Like what do we back up?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So when you talk about data sets, right, you want to look at the data in your entire company, everything on your, from your servers to your laptops to everything that stores data in your company, essentially.
Yeah. And then find out what's important.
Right. Find out what's important to back up, and then get a solution implemented to back that up.
Yeah.
And then set a schedule. Right. So scheduling it's all rolled into that backup solution. So how important is it for you to have? Do you want daily backups with you set like a monthly full backup, and then you have incrementals every day where it just captures the changes so that you can always roll back?
Yeah.
How important is it for you to capture every second of data in your network?
Yeah.
We have clients that have hourly backups.
Yeah.
Because that's really important to them, but that increases your data set.
Now, those are hourly incremental backups, aren't they?
Hourly incremental backups,
So
right.
essentially, the incremental backup is just taking the data that has basically just what has changed, and it just backs that up.
Exactly.
Your full backup starts from scratch, creates a whole nother one,
back up
and
the
then
entire data set.
creates a whole new backup. Does it normally remove the old backup? And
you can set it to do that,
or
where it will. Most backup solutions have options for how much retention you have in your backup chains.
Yeah.
And then but every time you start a new backup, it starts a new chain of incrementals that go along with that backup. And then, so the scheduling part of the incrementals, if you do it every hour, you're going to need much more space than if you do it every day.
And then also, not only space, you'd also have to look into your network and bandwidth requirements.
Right, yeah.
Because you're going to be
pushing up to the cloud,
pulling a lot of stuff, even just over the network in general.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Internal backups will bog down your your hard drive and your network traffic off of your server and then throwing it onto either a NAS device or something along those.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
that's all the stuff you got to keep in mind.
Yeah. Implementation.
Dedicated devices.
Dedicated devices. So we, to my knowledge, we have NAS devices, the external drives. You could, we discussed the servers, so just dedicated backup server that we could put in place. And then there's also the tape drives, and then our own solution, the ARCs, that we implement in some companies. Those are all good solutions that can work. Pretty much, you choose a device that's compatible with what you're doing in the network, your budget, and you would essentially go from there. Find out, okay, is it worth it to buy the entire server, the backup server for whatever it is, $80,000, or is it more cost beneficial to just get a NAS device that has a few drives that you're backing up to, So it's going to be client or company dependent, but per the device, you can definitely have a good backup solution put in place regardless of your company's size and budget.
Right, and typically, a lot of times when we have these backup solutions implemented, and most clients will do monthly to weekly full backups, and then do incrementals in between, which is cost effective. You don't need that much storage for those kind of things, depending on your data set, of course. But
So I would say, so we're talking a lot about doing backups on servers and stuff, but what about workstations? Do we have solutions there?
We do, yeah. There's a lot of different solutions you can use. Obviously, you could have a external drive connected to each one of your workstations, but I don't think that's
seems inefficient.
It seems inefficient. But it is an option. A lot of times, the things like cloud solutions, you can throw an agent on a laptop or workstation, back up whatever important pieces of information. So, it really depends on what information is on those workstations, and if there's any on that workstation that needs to be backed up. A lot of times, we try to or we encourage our clients to make sure that any important data is stored in your server drives or in the cloud if you've got a cloud storage solution, or any kind of redirected folders on your desktop. So typically we'll set up desktop and My Documents folder redirections back to your server.
Yeah, definitely. And then plus the person sitting at the computer has no idea that that's even happening. It still says that it's going to the desktop and it's going to your documents. They're just saving it like they normally would, and it's all on the server.
It's all on the server. So if they happen to lose their machine, it's still there. You can still get those files back without having a separate solution for each workstation.
And then also another convenient factor to that is whenever they go log in to another machine, you just redirect those two folders back to the server, and then they have all the information that they had.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then we get into roaming profiles where that's done automatically.
Group policy edits and things like that. Yeah. So definitely. Another thing that I would say is configuration of your switches and access points and anything that you kind of sat there and you had a lot of configuration time just getting it set up. A lot of switches and access points have a little export button. You just export that and you're good to go. Next time you have to replace that device, or if you have to for any reason, upload that, and then you're A-OK, and you didn't spend 24 hours resetting up a switch.
And it's important though to keep in mind that when you do that, it's not a one-time thing. It's not you just back it up when it's first set up. If you make changes to it in the future,
anytime there's changes,
you've got to back those up too, because if not, you're.
And then I would throw that onto the server that's being backed up. Hopefully,
and that way you've got
got backup of your backups.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, if you have an MSP or you have a well put together IT department, those things are already handled for you, and you don't have to worry about that as a business owner. But if you're a small business, you don't have an MSP, or you've got kind of like a person from marketing or accounting kind of doing your
your brother that knows about technology.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes those kind of things can be missed. So bringing in someone that has the kind of knowledge and experience as like an MSP or not just an IT professional in general will catch those kind of things.
Yeah. And then plus they would have them documented as well. Like I know we document them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So definitely it's just something we can easily reference if we ever need to, copy paste or import.
Yeah, import and update, and you're back up and running. There's nothing like having you've got a $800,000 piece of equipment, for a switch or a firewall, as a spare, and you lose your primary, and you go to put that spare in place, and nothing works because it's not configured.
Yeah, like none of the VLANs are in place.
Exactly.
You just have all the ports that aren't correct, and definitely would want to have that configuration.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, you could always store that you know, your spare devices is like warm spares and things like that, so that they're ready to go. But you know, Delta changes on your network configs like that can be time consuming to go back and, you know, pull the spare out of inventory, open it up, set it up, go into it, you know, update the files. It's a good idea to do if you do plan on doing that, but sometimes that can be overlooked.
If you're able to implement it, I would highly suggest
Absolutely.
it.
But just as having those active backups prevent that from happening, being a problem.
For sure, definitely. So I guess, in a sense, another form of backups would be to set up your servers in a RAID.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, yeah. We don't typically, so RAIDs aren't technically a backup, but they are a prevention system. We always will have a RAID set up in a server. 99.999% of the time. If it's an important server, you're going to want a RAID set up. You know, it doesn't have to be, you know, some super elaborate 30 drive RAID set up. It can be something as simple as a 2 drive RAID 1 or a
so when one drive fails, it just picks up the other one, and your business didn't notice the difference, but your IT guy gets a little alert saying, hey, that drive died. You might want to go replace that before the next one does. Because more than likely you bought the drives at the same time, and they're going to die pretty close to the same time.
Right. Now we probably won't go too in depth into RAIDs today, but that could be, you know, something that we could discuss.
Definitely a whole nother subject.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
so
important.
much information.
Yeah, so many different configurations too when it comes to RAIDs. So, but we'll just touch lightly on that because it's important because it can prevent you from having to revert back to those backups. And, so that's you know, prevention is just as important as backups are. So
so backups are really focusing on recovery. Recovery of the data. Like, you've already got the backup in place, hopefully.
Right.
And now you've lost all your data. You are able to simply recover it with whichever solution you chose. So it's really great.
You know, we also don't want to confuse replication with backup too. You know, a lot of times people think that, you know, everything's replicated to, you know, say I have 2 hosts that are replicating one another. I've got a replication set up to a cloud service. You know, okay, I'm good, I'm protected.
Right.
That's great until someone goes, you know, maybe you have a malicious, you know, employee or a malicious piece of software that comes in and just wipes out a data set or locks it, crypto locks it, and then that gets replicated to wherever it's going. Yeah. Without, you know, without proper backups, it could be difficult to recover from that situation.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's more of a failover setting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's more of a failover.
Hey, server 1 just completely went out. Now server 2 kicks back up and just goes.
Yeah, it's much faster than having to recover a whole data set back to the server.
And it also keeps your business going while you're able to maintain and fix the server that went down.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've seen that I don't know how many times where, we have one server, no replication, server went down. Well, everybody gets to go home for the day. Business isn't making money.
Yeah, absolutely. So, is anything else that you can think of to talk about today for backups? We pretty much, we've done I think a kind of a general overview of backups. General overview. Pretty much gave some good tips that I can think of. So, with that, really, I think we're going to go ahead and end the video. Okay. So, thank you. If you all have any questions or concerns or even interested in reevaluating your backup solution, feel free. You can always reach us or visit our website at neoRhino.com, and we'll be happy to schedule something with you.
And so with that, I'm Chris Tripp.
I'm Sean Root with neoRhino, and here we're, I'm sorry, I screwed that up. Let's try it one more time.
All right, so thank you for watching Tech Tips. This is Chris Tripp.
I'm Sean Root, the neoRhino, and we're here to manage your technology so you can manage your business. Thank you for watching.
Have a good one. Shut it down. No, we need to redo that one.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because you said this is Chris Tripp.
I said this is Chris. If you're watching,
I was like, oh.
this is Chris Tripp. If you're watching the video, it says
This is Chris Tripp.
This is Chris Tripp. I
This
have
is
formally
Sean Root.
pointed at myself.
Right
This
I
I should have did
That's
this.
Kevin.
Wow. We got
That's
Kevin over
George
here
over
and
there.
George.
am nowhere.